I love that intro so much. Hello and welcome everyone to another amazing, beautiful episode of Let's Talk MetaZoo. My name is Turmentic. Today I am joined with the amazing and beautiful Mr. Chris from CasterCrewHTX. HTX, Houston, Texas, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
All right. So say hi to the masses.
What's up, everybody? Long day at work, so I'm getting back into the swing of things, having to talk to people. So please be patient with me.
Just so everybody knows, we were supposed to do this interview like 2 weeks ago, and it didn't happen because I got really sick, and so we kind of were like, well, let's try it this week, and so we're here Monday. I'm super excited to actually have you here, though. You are a gem when it comes to content creation in the MetaZoo community. I love your stuff on Instagram. We're going to jump into all of that, though, of course. And of course, we're going to find out more about Chibi Chris. But as always, the most important question of the entire interview: what is your favorite cryptid, and why is it Squonk?
Well, it's Squonk has a very interesting place in my heart because of the pocket Squonk thing. That was one of the first kind of indie trends, I would call it. Like, it's very like one of those things. And I remember when I first started posting about it, I was like, I didn't fully understand it. And I was like, this is cool. Like, so I found one, put it in my pocket or my school bag, and I started carrying it and then just taking it places. And it's really funny because we'll go places and I'm like, dang, I wish I had my Squonk. You know what I mean? And it's funny. But honestly, my favorite cryptid, and this is honestly about my first experience with MetaZoo. I got in at like nightfall, like middle of nightfall. So I got a spell book and some theme decks, and I pulled a Jack Frost. And I grew up watching that claymation puppety Jack Frost, was in love with it. And he's honestly like one of my favorite Christmas characters. And when I pulled the card, I had no idea that would be a thing. And I was like, oh man. And then insert my path on playing Frost like exclusively for a very long time. But yeah, I would have to say Jack Frost, and then a very close second to Squonk. I want a little Squonk just follow me around.
That's great. I didn't know that you were one of the original ones that actually started the pocket Squonk trend.
No, I no, not the original for sure. No.
Okay.
I just saw it with like Prince MetaZoo and Metatorius and of course Harley and stuff. And I was like, what is this? I was intrigued by it, and I loved how it was very like understated. Like how just I was like, this is cool. Like, I don't know, like, why aren't people just grabbing a Squonk and going places with it? Like, I don't understand. So I just hopped on board, man, and like Prince is great. He's like the Squonk king, and you know, it's just
real Prince baby.
Funny. I see people just whip out a Squonk at the beach on the videos and the pictures, and just like, it's so good. I love it.
That's actually funny because that's kind of how I fell into the pocket Squonk thing too. I just thought with like, neat. I want to do that now. And for so sure. I went out. I mean, mine's only a Cryptid Nation 2nd edition, so like,
same.
Yeah, it's like it's not special. Like I don't have like a Kickstarter one or anything like that. But
that's so sick.
I love that.
My special Squonk is I actually found one of the Seance blisters with the Squonk tarot card.
Oh, cool.
So that's my special Squonk right now, other than just the one that I grabbed, the first one I grabbed. a long time ago. It's in my backpack. I take it to school every day.
And so we actually we watched Coco today after the kids got home from school, and it actually made me think of the reel of where you're actually putting the squonk head back on it. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, I
Yeah.
know that reference.
Yeah. That's
Um,
fun.
all right. So in all honesty, you're saying that Jack Frost is probably your favorite?
I would say he has to be. He's like one of my favorite like I guess cryptid stories. And like I don't know. That movie that many deep cut memories with my mom watching that movie and stuff like that. So when I pulled the card, all that came flooding in and I was just like, this is my favorite thing ever.
That's awesome.
Card. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about Chibi Chris. Like when did you really get into TCGs? Have you always been into TCGs? Tell us about like early content creation that you did, things like that.
Okay. So TCG wise, I mean, so going back, Chibi Chris by my middle brother is called MacGyver. He calls me MacGyver because if he needs something to work, I'll finagle it to work. And honestly, like going into MetaZoo now, that's like how I get myself out of hard situations when playing. So it's funny that he still calls me that. But I grew up. I collected Pokemon cards much like everybody here, right? Just like when the show was out and everything was going crazy, and then Yu-Gi-Oh came along, and that's when I like collected cards, but I was like, I want to learn how to play because like the TV show was so great and very easy to follow with the playing. You know what I mean? So I played for a while with my friends at the time, and I was doing well, and they were kind of getting over it. And so then I went to a locals down the street from my house, and I got absolutely handled. And I was like, okay, so I need to get better. But at the same time, my brother was playing Magic. So he was like, hey, just come over here and check this out. And I got into Magic. And so me and my brother played a lot with his friends and stuff like that. So then we played at a couple locals, and then I was a soccer player, so this is all in like my free time
Okay.
and very little free time. So whenever I got a chance, I would play, and then went off to college to play soccer and stuff like that. And that kind of faded, and I hadn't played a TCG in a long time, except for holidays. Whenever I would come back into town, me and my brother would come back to town, pick up a Magic starter kit, and just go at it, just raw, and just play each other, and it was really fun. But then did the whole college thing, and then went on to start teaching and stuff like that. And then my brother-in-law brought this to my attention. I started reading the cards. I love the art. I'm very art appreciative, and like I was like, man, this art is crazy. I was like, and then like I'm starting to read like the resolutions and stuff, and I'm like, this could be fun. And I'm like, okay. So we start trying to teach ourselves how to play and reading the book, watching Meta Bros like every day, like trying to figure out everything. And then the rest is history with that. The content creation wise, like, golly, I don't want to say 2016, but around like maybe 2017. 2017. I was really heavily into a video game called Destiny,
Mm-hmm.
and me and my oldest brother and my middle brother would play all the time to like reconnect and stay connected. And then we would always joke and make jokes about what was happening in the game. Ended up doing a podcast that was comedy based. I was talking to you a little bit about it, and we had like almost like a game show and get all these streamers on and
Oh,
content
nice.
creators, artists and stuff. And we would just have fun with it, and then put that in the back pocket. That kind of fizzled out. We started having kids, and the schedule started getting crazy. And so then fast forward to the MetaZoo stuff, me and my brother-in-law, we, cracking jokes during games. We're always cracking jokes. If you ever played against me, I'm always cracking jokes. I'm not trying to distract you. I'm literally just trying to hang out with you. So it's so it just went from there, and we're like, we should just start making videos, and here we are. And
So
unfortunately,
wait, do you make the videos with your brothers?
no, with my brother-in-law.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
not all of them. He in the beginning we were making videos together, and some were just like, here's the video concept, I can record it, it doesn't really, it's like a one cut to me or a one cut to him, something like that. So so we started doing that, and so then recently he actually started teaching as well, and then he's having a baby actually on Thursday. So he was like, look, man, I haven't been active. Like I'm gonna pull back, and you just take on the thing. And I was like, all right, man, I got it. So probably for the past like 8 months or so, it's been just me, and I've been a little nervous about it because like when we bounce ideas off each other, like obviously we're laughing, just guts hurting laughing. But I miss them. But I try and BS with them as much as I can, so to keep the creative juices flowing and stuff like that. But yeah, here we
I
are
mean,
now.
you pump out content pretty regularly. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you're
try.
posting like multiple times a week and such. So
Yeah, I try. I try and it's what lessons learned from the podcasting game with the Destiny stuff. Uh, I try to pace it to match what I'm able to do instead of trying to put that pressure on myself. And that's when I feel my better creations come out, I guess. It's
no,
not so
that makes
forced.
sense.
You know what I
Quality
mean?
over quantity, of course.
Yeah. So um where I have like a notebook full of like ideas and stuff. It's just like, you know how it is. You go into, you storyboard it, you start working out the kinks and stuff like that. So um yeah, but where I'm just the ones that are really just like offshoot from the hip are the memes. Because I'll see a meme and I go, oh yeah, and then I'll go to work and be like editing the meme like early in the morning, and then I'll put it out like around lunchtime. So whenever you see those, those were just like, oh man, that'd be funny.
Mr. Sly,
So,
you can see all of their content on Instagram. I have the link actually in the description of the video. It take you directly to his page. The videos we're referencing are the reels that he creates. Mostly all parody or joke reels. There are a couple that you have that are kind of serious, but like most
yeah.
are all just joke and parody reels, and they're like top tier MetaZoo content. Like not even kidding you. I'm a little jealous of the one it's from last year. I think it's like last September or so. You made the video, and it's like when you actually have a new deck idea, and it
Oh, and I
shows a
put
little
you
bit
in
of
there, yeah.
animation. Yeah, it shows the animation of Dexter in his lab, and you're like back to the lab again, and then
Yeah.
I show up in there doing my whole crazy thing with the conspiracy web behind. Like I'm a little fond of that one.
Well,
But
it's funny you say that because I'm jealous of you because you did the Charlie Day, and I promise you, I could probably find the notebook that has the we were gonna do that
oh
and
god,
have the whole thing, and we're like, okay, so I'm gonna attack you for this, and then use his power for this, and then he just starts zooming out, and then he goes to the board and he's like, so I'm gonna do this now, and then I'm gonna do this, and you're just like, that's what we were gonna do. And then you put that out, and I was like, God, dang it.
No, you should still make it. I fully support you still making it. I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Hasbar. Somebody challenged me actually in the Discord. They're like, "You won't make that," and I was like, "Bet." And like literally 2 days later, I had that out. Just that's honestly how like the parody songs and stuff usually happen too. Somebody's like, "You won't make that a song," and I'm like, "I'll see you Tuesday."
Yeah, that's I'm like, I'll hyperfixate on it for a couple hours, and then I'll let you know.
We'll see what goes with it. And that's one of the reasons again, like I like a lot of your content because I could actually see like you have those ideas where you're like, okay, I have to do this, and then you immediately set foot in figuring out exactly how you have to do it, what steps you have to take and stuff. So yeah, that's why I always enjoy your content when you
Thank you. Yeah, another one that was like that was the Napa Rebob with the bananas on the suntan lotion. I was actually like full tilt. We were going outside with the kids, and I was like, get the sunscreen. And I saw the bananas, and I literally in my head heard the choppers. And I was like, dude, that would be so funny. And I was like, hold on, set up the tripod, The hardest part about that video was tossing it to myself to make it look natural. And I was like, you know how many takes it took? I should really keep the bloopers on some of these things because they are like, I'm like, oh, nope. Oh, you saw my hand. Oh, no. Yep. And then I finally get it. But yeah, that's
my favorite are the ones when I start talking to myself, like I actually do something like, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this. And I'm like, wait, why? When am I? Yeah. Because the way that I edit stuff, I have to delete all of the bloopers as I'm editing it. So it's like I don't have any of those. But there was one, I can't remember what it was. My wife actually, she made fun of me for months for it because it's how I said something and I said it like really weird, but like I didn't catch it like 15 times I listened. And so yeah, she heard it, was like, what did you say? And like literally made fun of me for months for it. But so you were talking about when growing up you played Magic and things like that. Did you ever play like any sort of like, did you ever go to any like big tournaments or anything like that? Did you ever try to do any sort of competition, like competing with any sort of TCG stuff?
Other than just like a local, like that's it. Because honestly, like growing up, I was playing soccer and then I was like playing up like a year or two. So I was always on the road playing, and like anytime I had like any type of free time, I was like playing cards, drawing, playing music and stuff like that. And what's funny is the most fulfilling stuff that I've done. I mean, soccer's been fulfilling, but like, you know how it is, trying to please your parents. It's those things, like I taught myself how to play piano and guitar and like draw more or less, like other than being like art class and whatnot. But like it's one of those things that like I'm like, dang, like creative Chris is pretty cool. And so I'm trying to anchor myself in that because it brings me joy. So
nice. So what do you actually teach? Like, did you
I
what
teach,
did you go to, so time out before we get into that, what did you actually go to school for?
I went to school for health and physical education, and then when I moved to Texas, they don't do that. They do kinesiology. So it's kinesiology with a minor in special education, and then I am a PE teacher at an elementary school.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I get to be a goofball all day.
Yeah, it's the one reel I would actually point people to is the one I can't remember what it says on it, but you're just like doing the little dance, the dun dun.
Yeah, the Pine Grove Shuffle. Yeah, that's actually at my job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yep. So I was like, haha, that's funny. So do you enjoy it? What made you want to be a teacher? Specifically like a physical education teacher?
My dad was a teacher for a long time. But he struggled with his health. He had like diabetes. I remember growing up with him, like in and out of the hospital. And then now like with like, he had like had to get stents put in and stuff. I remember all that stuff. And I remember like early on, I just wanted to do something in the health field. I wanted to be a nurse or like a physical therapist for a while. And then I saw the course load, and then then I saw like I had to be really good at math and stuff. And not that I'm not good at math, I just don't prefer to focus on math. It frustrates me because I keep asking why when I shouldn't. And so I kind of landed in PE, and I went to school at a place called Lock Haven University up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. And there I like started with PE, and I remember my first class, and like they were teaching you how to teach PE, and then you basically like they show you tips and tricks, they give you a subject matter, and then you go out and present it like the people are your students, and it just came really easy.
Oh wow!
And then it was history from there.
How long have you been doing it now?
I'm in my 11th year of teaching.
Wow! Get out!
Yeah, I love it. That's so awesome.
Cool. Have you been at the same school the entire time?
Yes. I teach in Pasadena, Texas, at a very low socioeconomic school. So like everything I try and do there is like I make videos for there. So if you wanna watch some funny videos I've made for my school, look up Richie PE on YouTube. Me and my co-teacher, like we make silly videos all the time.
Oh my
which
god,
is
I
like
need that link.
another
Okay, no,
like,
you have to send me that link when we're done with this.
yeah.
Like,
So we
hold on, let me see if I can find it real quick, and I'll post it in the comments.
So like we like prank teachers, we scare teachers, we do all kinds of stuff. So like you can really see like
What
if
was
you
the
were to
name of it you
see
said?
Richie PE, RICHEY PE. Should be like a crest logo or something like that.
Okay.
Looks like the USA Rugby.
For Richie Elementary Physical Education. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
here we go. All right. So I'm posting this inside of the comments. If anybody wants to go and check this out, I know what I'm doing after this interview now. Boom.
Yeah, deep dive the pranks. They're hilarious. We'll watch them. We'll watch them randomly, just to have a laugh. But like if you were to kind of zoom out and see like my content creation progression, and then like getting into where I am now with the MetaZoo stuff, like it's just, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's like, oh man, like I can just do that over here now, because like, editing and just thinking about ideas and visualizing how things are going to cut and what's funny, what's the punchline and stuff like that is really fun. But yeah, it's a blast. I love my job. The past couple years were rough because I picked up, they asked me to be a temporary after school program coordinator, as well as a full-time PE teacher. And let me tell you, I'm never doing that again.
What were the hours?
I was getting there at like 6:30 and not leaving until about 6:30, 7.
Oh, wow.
And, it allowed my wife to stay at home with the babies for a year. She like stopped teaching for a year to like spend one more year before they all like got into primary school.
Oh wait, is she a teacher as well?
Yeah, she's an English teacher. She's back at work as well. So yeah, she was the one that edited my papers in college.
What?
Yes.
So what does she teach? You said English, but like, what grade?
She is freshman English.
Ooh.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, God bless you," and then people are like, "God bless you. You teach little ones," and I'm like, I mean, it's all hard at times, but I like the little ones because there's things that just go whoo, like right over their head, and I'm like, okay, whenever you catch that one, let me know. I made a kid laugh the other day. There's this kid that is very shy, timid, but like all last year, just not really much. Couldn't really get him to speak. And then this year, I made a joke because we had a girl whose name was Ariel, and she was talking to Eric during class, and I'm teaching, and I said, Ariel, what are you talking to? Are you going to be like, what's the song? What's the song from Little Mermaid where he's like, wish I could be, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah. And I started singing that, and he dies. And I go, oh my God. I was like, I could quit. I made Eric laugh. And I was like, started like walking out. I was like, that's it. I'll see y'all next week. So yeah, it's like a stand-up routine for me. Like,
that's great. So what brought you to Texas if you went to school all the way up in Pennsylvania?
My wife, I'm born and raised in Texas. This funny story. We met on MySpace. Everyone remember MySpace? Back before there was actual catfishing.
Was she part of your top 8?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we met. We were 15. It was crazy because like my friends were like, you gotta get on MySpace. And at the time, we were like the skater kids, we were skateboarding in between playing sports and stuff. And, I just made a page, and then this beautiful girl adds me, and I'm like, Houston, Texas, you know what I mean? Start talking. Then we start dating. And then I like convinced my parents to let me fly down there. My dad like came with me. And then just started seeing each other on holidays and stuff like that. And then I went to school at Lock Haven, played soccer up there for the school. And then after 2 years, I was like, am I where I want to be? And I was just like, I'm out. I'm going. I'm taking the jump. And then moved down, played on the same Houston team, and finished out, got a job, and got a house, had some kids, and here we are,
Wow, man, that's a hell of a story. That's awesome, dude.
Thank
Wow,
you.
MySpace. Who would have thought?
MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah, people ask us that all the time, and I'm like, yeah, have you ever heard of MySpace?
Wayward's actually wants to know what position you played in soccer.
Center mid. I played it all, but one of the main things was center midfield. And then in college, I played defensive center mid or, well, offensive center mid. But I mean, if you know soccer, we played a 4-3-3, so I would be like the top target in the middle or one of the left or rights. So,
What was your favorite position, though?
I'll probably center mid.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I play Frost. I like controlling the field and controlling the board. So
Makes
it's
sense.
it's just very translates. I'm like, oh, I can get used to this.
Yeah, that's actually that's a nice little transition right there. I like that. So is Frost your favorite aura color?
I would say yeah. This is the one I fell in love with the most, and then they inversely fell in love with Flame. And then actually played Frost this past weekend, and I was making the joke because I went Aura Dry like many games when I shouldn't have, and I was like, I made the joke. I was like, man, my Frost cards are for real mad at me because I haven't touched them in a while. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, but it was fun. It was really cool. It's really cool seeing how I've changed in terms of mindset because there was like certain cards that I would just not part with early on. And then now I'm like, man, I could probably side that and use something else. I mean, yeah, the meta's changed, but like, yeah, it was interesting to see how my mentality has changed.
So have you have you actually played in any big MetaZoo tournaments?
I played at Flame Tower.
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure if you'd done Flame. That's awesome.
Yes. That was when they announced that it was in Texas. I was like, I'm gonna go, and actually took some advice a while ago from like I call him my mentor, but he's my sensei. Josh Flores. He was number 2 or number 1 on the rankings for a while. He plays with the Golden Inks with Hyperbole. And he was like, because I kept playing Frost and I was doing well. You know what I mean? I was like top 3 at locals multiple times. And he was like, it's good to like try other things. You know what I mean? You learn more about the aura types and like backdoor answers and stuff like that. And I go, okay. And then I talked to my other sensei, Bearded MetaZoo. Me and him theorycraft all the time. And he got me into playing Flame. He made this sick Flame deck that I was like, oh yeah, I like that. And I played it and did well at locals. And then I was like, because I didn't know how to be aggressive either. And
you're used to playing Frost. That makes sense.
Right. So I had to learn it, which is like funny what I was saying about this weekend. I was like, man, I could be more aggressive. And I was like, wow, who am I? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's really fun. Like especially with Bearded as well. Like I'll never forget. This is like so funny. I had this idea, right? And I message him and I'm like, hey man, when it says like placed on a beastie, like I can, like when I contract it, I can place it anywhere, correct? And he goes, are you talking about Stickman? And I was like, I am. And he goes, I think I know what you're up to. And so we start going and just like sharing building this thing. And I take it to locals, man. And they were like, what are you playing today? I was like, I am here just to make you mad. That's it. I'm just going to make you mad all day. And I was just cryptid cameraing Stickman and just placing the tokens on top of their beasties so they couldn't attack like the whole game until I got embedding out and then just, and it was just, it was so stupid. Nasty. And yeah, like that was just such a funny moment. We're always just like messing each other about like, hey, like take this card out. And I was like, actually, I was talking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. And then we just start building something and it's super fun.
So what was your favorite thing about Flame Tower?
Man, just being around the people. I mean, I think I went even on the day. I didn't get top 32. That was, a little low key goal for myself, but but when I got there, I was like, man, the vibe here is just like, so like, this is great. Like I would lose. I'm like, this is great. I was just sitting like, I'm having so much fun. Cause I like Flame. There's people there that are like, oh, I hate playing this. I'm like, man, I just like seeing how you play it and then seeing how he plays it and she plays it. And it's just like, it was super fun to me. Like shout out to Maddie, the one judge. Me and him are buddies, and I got to see him in person for the first time, and that was really cool. And it was just awesome. Like all of it was just great. Like I got the little goodie bag. I almost left my goodie bag at the bar downstairs, and me and Josh. I traveled with Josh Flores, and we walked outside. I was like, oh my god, where's my bag? And like I ran back to the bar, and it was still in the seat, and I was like, oh my god, because I got the plushie for my son for his birthday coming up.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh man, but that was probably the worst part about it, was me almost losing the bag. Other than that,
the best part about it,
man, just I have two. I did not play what everyone else played. I played just straight full aggressive because I don't have the Magma Fusion, so I didn't feel like I had the time to be able to draw into Prisms or Earth Aura to be able to do the Magma one, the Lava Woman and stuff like that. And so I just played full face Mono Flame, and it's funny because like whenever like I would run out of gas a little bit, I would let them flood with deities and play Sacred Flame. And I was smacking with Sacred Flame. I won so many games off of just going, okay, so that's going to be 160. And and then one time I played the guy, he actually has the secret rare Sacred Flame.
Oh, wow.
And he was, hold on. He's like, I know I'm going to lose this game, but I'm going to do this. And he played the Sacred Flame and laid it like right in front of me. And I go, oh, good play. And I go, wait, hold up. I was like, can I touch it?
So wait, did he have it proxied and he played it, or did he actually have it sleeved and was shuffling?
He had it sleeved. It was in his deck.
No way.
Yeah, I swear. Yeah, it was crazy. And people were like running over to our table after the game because I was like, oh my god. I was like, that's so cool. Thank you for sharing this with me, man. Like, holy crap. And I guess it just traveled, and people run up to me like, are you the guy with the? I was like, no, that's him.
I mean, I know people have used blue inks. I know people have used red inks before in decks and stuff like that. But like, that's crazy to use a native SR though.
Right.
I didn't know that, man. Oh, I wish I would have known that. That's so
cool. I have to see if I can find the picture. I took a picture of it after the game.
Oh, but man,
it was cool. Yeah, it was a really unique experience. I was like, that's ballsy, man.
That takes some balls to do that.
I was like, dude. But no, it was cool. The fact that it came out and he was able to show me like in gameplay instead of just be like, yeah, I was hoping to play
By
this.
the way,
but so it was really cool.
Flame looked like it was a lot of fun. So what exactly was your strategy going in with Flame? Like you said, you were just trying to go with massive aggressive, but like, what was your overall goal?
My overall goal was to come out fast to the point where I had an advantageous board state to where when blockers came, I could potentially sacrifice, like just bomb things into it to pick them off, which happened in a couple games and helped me out. But there was times where like statistically I just like went dry or just drew nothing but aura. It's like, and that's why I was talking to some friends about it after Saturday's tournament, where it's like I have a really good game and then I clean up my cards and they clump.
Yep.
No matter how much, and then I have a really bad game, and I'm like, oh, I need to figure out a system to help me out there.
I kid you not. I have to literally I have to take all of the aura and the aura effects that I have, and I have to make at least 8 piles, and then I put the other cards on top of them, and I have to do that pretty much almost after every single game because I've noticed that if you don't, you have to like the shuffling is real. Yeah. And like it's crazy. And I know like some people will say, oh, the deck's actually not built correctly. And it's like that's not entirely true. It's just that when you're at the end of a game, if it's like turn 8,
you're just like 7, beasties,
you have all your stuff
spells,
right here. Yeah. So like there is no proper way of actually being able to reshuffle it unless you do something like that.
Right, for sure. That's what people are. They're like, how many are you running? I'm like, enough for sure. Yeah. Enough. Like
I promise you.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's true. I gotta probably do that and do the power piles and do that and just.
Are you planning on going to Dark Tower?
I wish. We have a crazy September. I really wish, because like that's closer to where I'm from, so I could probably convince my brother to go out and visit and check it out. But We have my son's birthday coming up. We have a aortic health run on actually that weekend. My wife's sister passed away from an aortic dissection like 3 years ago. So since then, we've been doing that run that raises money for that organization and stuff like that. So it's on that weekend, and then kids' sports are start that weekend. It's just like
I know all. Yeah,
it's a hot mess.
What about Caster's Cup in October?
That is on the table. I certainly want to go. I'm really trying to push it to be like a getaway for me and my wife. Because that would be fun just to go to NYC with just her. The last time we were there is for her cousin's wedding, and we had a blast. It was pre-kids. Oh man, we had a blast, and I would love to go and then also get to play and stuff. I've never been to Comic-Con. That's something my wife's sister would always love to do. She always dressed up and went to the Austin like Comic-Cons and stuff. So I was like, man, it'd be really cool to like do that. But it's expansive.
Yeah,
things are expensive.
How old are your kids?
5, 4, and 3.
You're right near where I am.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, let's go. Yes. 8, 6, and 3. So yeah,
okay,
like right there, neck and neck.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Kids expensive.
Yeah, it's it's so crazy. Like with her going back to work, and my oldest 2 going into pre-K and kinder, we got that daycare pay raise. We're only paying one daycare right now, and it's like there was a time we were paying 3 daycares, almost like $3K a month just on daycares, and then we looked at each other like, that's your paycheck.
Yep.
You should just not work and take care of them, and we'll be all right. And that's exactly what we did. So,
well, that's awesome. You were blessed you're able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you take the time to actually hang out with the kids while they're little, because that's important, especially when they're little and they're young like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you had to pick something that you are most excited for when it comes to the future of MetaZoo, the stuff that we know, what would it be?
Man, outside of like towers, I'm really looking forward to seeing where they're gonna put Frost Tower. Honestly, that's one thing I'm like, where is it? I don't know. Legacy looks interesting. I only picked up one blister from Legacy because I just wasn't sure. Mm-hmm. And I honestly just bought a flame bundle and then just bought bought a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, I'll try it out and then see what's up. Man, I want to see. I want to know what war's about. I want to know what's coming. I've heard whispers about like a new aura type or like a fleshing out of other stuff.
Yokai. So we should get. I think it's wind with yokai.
Okay, that sounds fun. But I mean, other than like honestly, I know there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions about MetaZoo, but like honestly, looking at it, I mean, MetaZoo's compared to what like Bungie did with Destiny, where we were like super invested in it and stuff like that. They're doing a good job at retooling and changing things and really thinking about the mechanics of things, and like the game isn't so easily broken.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where I was talking about it Saturday, and it was like because I went aura dry, and I was like, I just need an earth aura. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know where it is, and it's hopefully it comes soon. And they said, oh man, what if Cement Worm was 1 neutral, 1 earth? And I was like, it'd be broken.
Yeah,
it'd be so broken. Like, and you start thinking about all the scenarios where how much more faster that card would be and much bigger of a problem. But I really think like the R&D, they're doing a great job. I mean, a lot of people are mad because they already had, a lot of data behind what they were planning for Dark Tower. But I do like the 1-times because I think it's going to be wider. You're going to see a lot of different styles, a lot of different things. You're going to have to worry about so much more instead of being funneled into a certain thing. Because I mean, everybody had the same cards at Flame Tower.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it was just how it was played. and at what time and what you drew into. But now with the one times, yeah, the automatic active tears is great, but and you know, counting things and blah, blah. I'm really surprised that banana wasn't in eyesight considered. And if it was, I was funny when you pushed it back. I was like, man, if they released the thing in bananas with an eyesight, I have a banana hat that I wear at school all the time, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna wear it on there, and then they didn't put it, so no banana hat. But now I think it's gonna be wider, man, because like I've seen some really nasty dark plays at some of the tournaments I've been to, and like thinking
love
about
that it's
what they had going
one-time
on.
Terra bonus, man. Like,
Oh yeah,
I love that they were able to once again switch up the tower format, because I feel like they did that with Flame, adding in the active Terras and other or the active fourth wall effects.
yes,
And then I feel like this is like the final evolution of tower format.
right.
Where I'll be honest with you, I'm not fully convinced that we're ever going to go back to 3-time Terra bonus.
I don't think so.
I don't think we are. I think we're going to stay at the 1-time Terra bonus, and they're going to have active fourth wall effects like they have right now. And I'm absolutely in love with that.
Yeah,
Because like you said, it's a wider card pool than anything that we would imagine. The fourth wall effects that they put in place made all of these, like a certain amount of cards, like viable, and actually made them more important than like Rebob or like I'm so excited. I love how they kind of just once again did like a switcheroo, like whoopsie, like it was great. It was so good.
That's what I was thinking too, is like, what per your question, like I just like seeing how they're really thinking about it. They're not just like, okay, 3 times again. You know what I mean? Same stuff. Your typical nighttime, full moon, whatever. Go ahead. And they're really thinking about it and taking feedback and understanding, because they also love the game. So it's like, you know, I was hoping that it would be that way at Flame, because like there would have been more like spell decks, OTK decks. There would have been a lot of more like things going on, and you know, some of the builds you would have seen in the top would have been completely gnarly. So
I love what they did with the Dark Tower, man. I'm so excited to actually see. And I mean, that's the thing. There's just so many different possibilities with it. And the great thing too is that the people that I've talked to, they are very adamant that their way is the right way. And I'm like, if you look literally 2 steps to your left, you'll see somebody who's on the complete opposite opposite side, using completely different cards. And then you go 2 steps to the right, and it's the same thing. And they're all 3 groups are like, no, my way is the way it's going to work. And I'm like, it's so beautiful how different all of you look, right? Like how different all of your approaches are, but they're all viable. Like, because Earth and Water, there were majority the same decks. That's why I'm so excited about Dark.
It's just it also like prevents like over testing too, like, because there's no telling what you're gonna see. And like personally, like when I was thinking about what towers was gonna be, I literally thought you had to follow a ratio and you rolled up, and you're gonna really prove why you're the best one for that aura type. And like with the way that Dark Tower is, I really feel we're gonna see who a really good dark player is, because you're going to have to duke it out. Like, it's not going to be copy paste. You're going to have to figure some really crazy stuff out, and it's going to be really interesting. I cannot wait to see the stream. I am like,
well, this is the first time where I'm focusing a lot on my sideboard. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, because like, oh, you should always focus on the sideboard, but it's not that. It's more, I honestly feel that the person that picks the correct sideboard is going to be the one that wins. If you have to be able to answer X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't matter how good your personal deck is. If you can't answer X, but you can Y and Z, you're still going to lose 33% of the time.
Right.
So like this is the first time where I've really felt that a side deck is crucial to being able to win, because like, again, I didn't go to Flame, but with Water and Earth, the majority of the decks were carbon copy. They were the same specific cards. You might have
same strategy, more or less.
Exactly. So like everybody's sideboard was the same. Everybody had the same counters for this, for that. I mean, everybody was using River of Time, for example, at Water Tower, and like that was the thing. So I'm excited that this, like you said, this is the first big brain meta tower in essence, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see what people come up with. And it's funny. Everyone gets like in Houston, we were like, oh, let's test our flame decks, and then everyone's like, no, my precious, like you can't see it, and we're like, whatever. And me and Josh like just rolled up there and just played a bunch of games. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting because like I mean, like okay, you might have some sauce, but like there, like you said, with it being so wide, there you can find an answer. You can cite in an answer.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, oh man, it's gonna be so. I've never really played dark like that. Stickman is probably my first dark attempt, and I loved it, but it was heavily like light sided too. So, but I'm gonna be, yeah. Honestly, I told them, I said, if I go to Dark Tower, I'm Stickman. I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like I don't care, like because I'm not about to find some drop bears or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like.
I have one, but I think you can have like 4 in a deck, and I was like, nope,
Right.
there's no way.
There's not a chance. I'm
Gonna
not
hit
gonna
up
buy a
Dean, be
Rat
like,
King or something.
Hey Dean, how can I borrow some drop pairs from you?
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Dark just because of how different I feel like that tower is going to be versus everything else. And this is the first tower event that I've actually been I've been training in essence for. I've been playing Jared at the shop like at least like 2 or 3 times a week, trying to actually play test different decks. Like he'll have one, I'll have one. Just this is the first time. I don't know. I've just been stupid motivated for this tower. Like I'm so excited for this coming up in September.
I wonder if the 3 times bonus was to help alleviate time, and like speed up games, because like it's such a long event. If you're going, just say there's a lot of times like at normal metal events and stuff like that, you'll go to turns and stuff like that, and if you're going to turns like a lot, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
So it's like I wonder if that's what they were trying to do, so that way like things were hitting very heavy and it was just kind of closing out games quicker. But I don't know.
I think they were kind of just experimenting, to be honest with you, on exactly like the different formats, because it was different than Caster's Cup last year, because Caster's Cup was standard tournament, I believe, first day, and then second day it was pseudo environments.
You're right.
And even then, I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think they had like 30 minutes or so after it was announced, this is your environment, to build a deck.
Really?
I think so. I remember talking to
like make adjustments or something.
Yeah, well, no, I think it was like they could build a deck if it was
snap.
Because of it. I didn't go last year. I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody was explaining how it worked at day 2. And then you got into the towers format with like the first 2 towers actually being just 3-time Terra bonuses, which they took a little bit of a change with from water to earth, because with Earth Tower, that's when they thanks Metakai, by the way, they threw in City, which I mean makes sense because of New York City, but it didn't make sense with like the Earth
theme.
Yeah, the Earth Aura theme, yeah. And then they completely did a curveball with Flame, because it was the Terra bonuses plus 4th wall effects, which they hadn't done really before. And then now with Dark, I mean, like I said, I feel like this is the final evolution, if you will, of towers.
Yeah. I think
which I wouldn't be opposed to them going back to 3-time Terra bonuses either, because it was a hell of a lot of fun at Water Tower. I kid you. I mean, the Water Baby swing. The Water Baby swing.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
I mean, those are fun. Like, I mean, even just having the Explosive Rabbit be relevant. And because, I mean, when are you going to play that, really?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was cool. Because, like, I mean, I remember whenever I pulled them, I was like, oh, cool, reverse hollow. And I was like, oh, I have like a play set of reverse hollows. And then I was like, okay, in the box you go, and then when the flame tower stuff rolled around, I was like, oh, I can finally use the full reverse hollows. And it's just silly, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. I mean, I think they should. I think probably what they're doing is seeing what's going to fit best with the aura type.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is flame wide enough to do one times? I don't know. I think games would take a while, and then like, you know what I'm saying?
See, it depends. It depends because I mean, you could run effigy.
That's true.
I mean, so I mean, and depending on how much burn you put on them too, at some point they're going to be forced to actually have to take damage when they attack
Yeah,
or
maybe.
defend or something. Like I don't
Right.
know. I feel like you could actually. I feel like you could actually speed flame up. I think flame, honestly, it would be one of the quickest at one
Right.
time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, for sure. Because you're like FSEs would just eat the show. Maybe that's what they were trying not to do. I think they're thinking about like what's going
Oh,
on with that.
kind of
You
going
know what I
back to
mean?
what you were originally saying about the R&D department, I'm so impressed with all of them, with the new set that comes out, because especially
Yeah.
now that I've been getting into the gameplay, I've been checking out the cards for the mechanics on how they operate and such. There's so much thought that goes into each one of the aura types, because I can see, I mean, again, I've been talking about this for months, though, where I feel like there's going to be somebody in 6 months to a year that sees certain cards and certain combos that we haven't even seen,
Mhm.
like, put together yet. And all that's going to take are just the new eyes. But they've done such a good job, in my opinion, of keeping all of the aura types almost even. There are
Right.
some that are a little bit more powerful because of ramp or
Mhm.
whatnot like that. But for the most part, across the board, they're even, and that's very impressive, with not only the card pool that MetaZoo actually draws from, but them keeping everything in a standard format, if you will.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just throwing that out there because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
the R&D department, and I mean, it's not just them either. Too, I know I'm talking mostly like Emilio, Logan, Fajir.
Mhm.
It's not just them; it's also the playtesters. I mean, because I know
Right.
they test the hell out of these cards.
Yeah, for
And I mean,
sure.
some of the ones that, like, I can't remember what it was, the exact quote, but I was talking to I think I was talking to Logan at Earth Tower, and that I think it was Behemoth Stampede was
Mm.
actually nerfed like 2 or 3 times, if I
And it
remember, like
still
during
smacks.
playtesting, and it still smacks. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, and I mean, that's the thing, is that it's really kind of cool. And if any of you ever get a chance to ever talk to any of these people, like at any of these conventions or something, talking to chat right now, definitely get, like, I recommend it. Like, I mean, don't bombard them, but if you like strike up a conversation or something, because all, like, they're super nice people,
Mhm.
the stuff that they can tell you is phenomenal. And, like, again, it just goes down to how much thought they have to put into the actual mechanics of the game to keep everything even.
Right. That's like the thing, like just this, it's the subtleties in which things interact, especially how with like rulings as well. Like I was looking at, I can't say the name, but it's a new Frost Earth card, and it's just a big like frozen guy walking. He's like I forget what his name is, and he's got like
uh,
the token, like he's got like a whole bunch of token defense type thing. He can like use the power to destroy tokens. He takes less damage from tokens,
is it
token
native?
pages. Yeah, native.
Is it Mue or
Yeah, I think
okay?
that's it. And it's just like looking at that card is like, wow, that's a really good card. But then also, you like what I was saying is okay, it's a four frost, one earth drop, I believe. And like you think about how much detail they have to think about how it balances, like you were saying, across the spectrum of everything. He's a 2/1 drop. We're talking that's borderline into gonna be a meta card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like you can't go anywhere without this guy. But then like you bump it up to 4/1, you know what I mean? It makes it kind of like late game, but like, you know what I mean, depending how things go. But like that's a lot of thinking that they have to do, and testing with it, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how that mingles with something like Wahila, or like even just the subtleties on 20 damage from Wahila's power instead of loss of life. How
Yeah.
how how like different that is to the whole game.
Yeah, because it's not loss
And
of life, it's damage. Like, and
right.
that, yes, it's the little things like that. Yes.
So and it's just like that's what I really like about this game, and it's so it is easy but hard to pick up this game,
Yeah.
but it's like it's just a door after door that keeps opening, and you're just like, wow, whoa, whoa, you know what I mean? And it's really good.
Something I've been trying to crack, like Jared and I have been trying to crack for the last like 3 weeks now or so, is Grim Reaper.
Mm.
And there's nothing. You can't do anything. You have to pay the 9 aura. There's no getting away around it. I mean, you can't.
I always make the joke that in order to see the Grim Reaper, you have to wait a lifetime.
Well, I just again going back to your content creation, your reel of the Grim Reaper sitting there on their phone while you're waiting for the 9 aura. Yeah, like again, top notch stuff, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's like your Grim Reaper, and there's because of the one line on it that says this card cannot be affected by anything, by any other card.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, nothing else will work to bring it out, like Chibi Growth or any sort like Skinwalker. You can't use Skinwalker.
Yeah.
You can use Skinwalker on Isatok. If you can put
Yeah.
Isatok out into your graveyard, boom, yeah, you can Skinwalker it all day long. Can't do that to Grim though. It's yes, 6 blood rubies. Oh, dude, I sang that so much yesterday at my qualifier. It was great. Like, I'd sing it, and they'd be like, "Oh God," dude. I'd sing it, and then I howl, and they'd be like, "Oh Jesus." Because there we go, 6 blood rubies. I get those. I'm gonna howl and get that Wendigo out. Woo!
That's so funny because at Flame Tower, like later in the day, people were like, "You don't have to snort." I'm like, "Doesn't matter.
I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna howl.
Because I'm not gonna have you. I'm not gonna have you raise your hand and call a judge because I didn't snort. You know what I mean? Like, there you go.
Yep, I'm gonna lose my voice at Dark Tower because of howling.
Dude, straight up, yeah.
But yeah, like but I know that eventually, though, kind of going back to the whole Grim Reaper thing, I know eventually someone will figure out something that actually either gets around that effect or I don't know, and it might be years from now. But like, I love that like there's specific things on the cards, like like you said, loss of life versus damage,
right?
Like little things like that, and that's one of the things that just makes me like, I'm so happy that I got into the gameplay, because like I love the art, I love the story, I love the lore, like all of that. Like it's a huge part of why I love MetaZoo. But understanding those intricacies in the gameplay now has been so rewarding, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. It's I mean, I've only played 2 other TCGs, but it's I'm telling you, when I went to Tennessee for vacation over the summer, I brought 2 release event decks, and I taught my brother how to play. I told him I'm bringing it back. I said, but I'm bringing MetaZoo this time, not Magic. And I taught him. He loved it. He was like, dude, this is really fun. Like, and easy to understand. If you have TCG experience, like that's one of the things I never really understood about like people not picking it up or like trying it out. Because if you have TCG experience, like you're like, oh yeah, I get this. Like this is pretty easy.
Well, exactly. Kind of like Wayward. Wayward right here is actually asking, how do you feel MetaZoo playability pairs with Magic? And to be honest with you, I think, in my opinion, if you know Magic, if you can play Magic the Gathering, it is going to be the easiest card game, in my opinion, to transpose over to MetaZoo. Because all you have to tell anybody that plays Magic is that there are 2 different graveyards and there's an exile pile. And then you tell them that everything is played at sorcery speed unless the card itself indicates that it can be played at any time. And it literally will say you can play this at any time, or you can play this because of X.
It literally says it.
All you need to tell a Magic player, and a Magic player can pick up this game.
Yeah.
It's because again, everything is played like sorcery speed in Magic is you can only play it during your turn.
During your turn, yeah.
Magic also has instant, just in case anybody in the chat doesn't know what that is. So you play it everything's played at sorcery speed, meaning you can only play stuff on your turn. That's like, I feel if you know how to play Magic, you can pick up MetaZoo. And again, like you were talking about before, It is an easy game, in my opinion, to learn. It is a hard game to master, though.
Oh yeah.
Like, and a lot of that is because of we're actually, and that's one of the most exciting things about MetaZoo, in my opinion, when it comes to the gameplay, is that we are in that moment where a lot of these hard rulings are going to be made. A lot of these rulings that will affect future gameplay for the next couple of decades are going to be made over the next 2-3 years. I mean, I know sometimes it's going to cause either controversy or it's going to cause hurt feelings, but those hard calls, those hard rule decisions need to be made before MetaZoo actually blows up.
It blows up, yeah, for sure. Like the whole possessed aura thing. That was the conversation at Earth Tower, because like they made an on the shot call, and it kind of went that way throughout the rest. And then they went to work on figuring out what they were going to do, and then they updated the rule book like that. And that's what I'm saying is like they're not just figuring it out. They're literally molding a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Currently, and we're just watching it, like a new piece of it take shape, and it's been a fun ride. Like honestly, like
it's one of those where like the whole snowing tarot ruling from Earth Tower 2 was one of the biggest hard rulings in MetaZoo history, in my opinion, because that will and can be cited for as soon as something enters the arena, it is effective or active. So that means that anything that is either on the stack, anything that is actually in effect, doesn't matter. That card supersedes everything. And that's going to be a big ruling, in my opinion, that's going to be cited.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, like it's just it, and I love how Frost got that card. There's so many people playing that card that are running. Like yesterday, Saturday, was running against a forest poison deck, Blinding Blizzard. Oh, why? You know, like, I mean, I'm not running, you know, maybe if I try and Cryptid Nation a Slide Rock, but like, I mean, you know, it's like crazy. I was like, they're just trying not to allow stuff to happen. I love that control aspect, and it's like I don't know, I
gotta go to Frost Tower just so I can play this card.
Oh.
It has to be the month of December though.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a Frost light deck ready for Christmas time. Oh my gosh, I'm playing nothing. If you go to my locals and you see this, know that I'm playing a Christmas deck, because I am just going to go for the memes on Christmas. I'm wearing a Santa Claus hat the whole time. I'm gonna be giving you gifts with Santa Claus. I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff.
Make the tower so like ready. Second week of December too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so fun. But yeah. That's what I do. I mean, like, and one of the things I'm working on as a player, like you said, like getting more into the gameplay stuff. I've tried to, like, you know, get better and stuff like that. And then, like, you know, you have to acquire certain cards to take that step into the next arena and then learn how to interact. And that's one of the things I'm doing again. Like, I went through a phase where I was like, I need to acquire these like key pieces, you know, your first anniversaries, your, you know, prisms, your stuff like that. Then that brought me into the next. And then now I'm like, I picked up 2 of the Frozen Karen fusions, and then like, okay. And then now I'm like trying to get some other fusions, and yeah, right. Probably never going to get a possessed aura, but
I only have one, man. I have not been able to get a second one. I need a second one.
I spent so much money just breaking, like we go to Target a lot, and I'm like, oh, I'll take a blister pack. I was like, today's the day. I'm going to get one. And then
see, I can't find those blister packs at my Target. I want them so bad. I've only opened up 2, and those actually were sent to me by a buddy who doesn't live around here, because I can't find any.
Yeah. I'll have to send you some if I can find some more. They're running low at the thing. I have to like pinch myself. I'm like, no, that's money I can put towards a fusion aura, or put towards a, you know what I mean? It's like, you're not gonna pull it. So
you will eventually one day.
I will when it's too late. Day. They're like, oh, it's on the do not playlist. So, and then I pull it.
I'm excited for Dark Tower 2 because of the online client demo.
Oh yes.
The client, I think the client's going to be revolutionary when it comes to MetaZoo game, not just MetaZoo gameplay, but MetaZoo as a whole.
Yeah, bringing
people talking about
in.
that in the video that I made, where it's going to introduce so many new people to the game. Like I don't know. I feel like the online client is potentially the biggest thing that MetaZoo has actually done, just because of ease of access and the number of eyes that are going to be able to see it.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna. You think about people that just like my brother plays a game on his phone, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like turn based and this and the other thing," and it's just like I just do this and the other thing, and I'm like, man, just like a random. It has nothing to do with like anything like Marvel. No, like nothing. He's like, no, it's just a game someone made, and I was like, oh. So you think about how many people are like my brother who would just be like, oh, it's a turn-based game. Well, I'll pick it up. And then they're like, oh, they actually make cards about this. You know, I'm excited. One of the things I need to get into more too is the TTS, but I just don't have the time to sit down and do the things. And then I don't feel like clicking around crazy. I like having the cards in my hand. It's like a double-edged sword.
I would rather actually use a camera and play versus use TTS. Yeah. And that's the thing though too, is that I think the client actually should in essence replace TTS.
Right. Yeah.
Where I'm hoping, and I don't know if we've gotten confirmation about it, but I'm hoping that the client actually can be used to host tournaments, not just one that like MetaZoo actually create, but like almost in essence, you can use like the MPN. It can tie into the MPN in order to actually create some sort of like online tournament. Because I know that there's talk that we've been teased at least that like the neutral tower will actually take place on the online client, and that they already talked about how when Andy was teasing it, he was talking about how like they could host tournaments and stuff on it. Oh, wow. But I'm hoping that there's some sort of like, and again, this is all speculative, like, but I'm hoping that there's some sort of like tie-in with the MPN. So like, that'd be cool. Like Mike, like CNO, he can actually make a tournament, TCG Ireland sponsored tournament or something like that, that's on the client, but actually counts towards MPN.
And then you're just playing folks, and then scores are reported, and then you just like send a notification, like here's your next round.
At that point, I don't even know if you'd have to even send a notification or anything like that. It would all just be hand. It would all be held. So like you'd have like 50-minute rounds, and then you would actually go from like 50-minute rounds, let's say, to a max. If you went down the turns, it'd be an extra, let's say, 5 minutes. And so it would immediately end. There'd be 5 minutes of processing for that round, and then it would automatically post pairings for the next round, start timer, and it's all automatic. It's your responsibility to be sitting in front of your device or whatever in order to actually be there on time and things like that. So, I mean, again, like I don't, I mean, that might be like a year or so down, but I love the idea of it becoming more close knit, if that's the word I want to use. Interwoven, maybe.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that's a good word. Like it just kind of bleeds together, and like where it's almost seamless in terms of, well, I can go here and play, and then I got a thing on Thursday that's online, and it's just very easy to pick up, easy to navigate. Because I mean, TTS hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
I mean, there's some good tutorials out there for people and things like that, but I mean, it's one of those where like I know people who have used TTS for months, if not a year, and they still misclick things and they still misplace things and things like that. So I mean, it isn't. I don't know. That is one thing I will say I do like about TTS is the fact that it does force you to keep track of your triggers. It doesn't auto do the triggers, which I don't know if the client's going to either. And that's always good practice just for actual gameplay itself, because like, I mean, if you're playing for real, you have to do your own triggers.
Right.
Oh, here are your poison counters. I mean, like, you doesn't just automatically take it off or anything.
Yeah.
I do like the idea though of the code cards being in Legacy.
Okay. So do you think that in order to have cards on the client, you need to collect them? Or is it going to be ported from like Card.io?
I think that in my opinion, my theory, if you would, if you will, is that you're going to be given some sort of starter deck. That starter deck will have some staple cards in it, most likely. Like everybody probably will have a Chaos Crystal in that deck. Think of like the early CN1, CN2 decks. From that point forward, though, the only cards you'll actually acquire in game will be ones that you open from code cards from booster packs that you get in real life. You should be able to buy packs in game, very similar if you're like used to Hearthstone, for example.
Right.
Andy did tease us that there will be some sort of a crafting system. So somehow be able to actually craft certain cards, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
And I would imagine that there also would be either packs or certain specific staple cards that are rewards for hitting a certain level, or
Like gaining XP, like
like or fulfilling a quest, or maybe there might be some sort of like special event. Again, think like Hearthstone, where it's
Right.
like do these 5 things, you go to number 1, do another 3, you go to 2, and like the quest line, if you will. I do think there are going to be ways for us to get some of the staple cards. I don't think they're going to be locked behind either a paywall or codes.
Right.
I do think, though, that if you do want a full set of whatever, you are going to have to put in codes. You are going to have to actually play the game. You're going to have to level up. You're going to have to use like
Right.
the in-game resources in essence. I don't know, honestly, in my opinion, if I would put any sort of a trade feature in there, just because that
No, because that gets ugly.
Like that just screams to me that somebody potentially could try to abuse it.
Right.
But so I don't know if I would include anything like that. But the crafting system alone, you got to think, like, let's say you play a match. After the end of the match, you get 25 whatever the resource is. You need 500 of this in order to craft a card. That literally means that you just have to play like 20 games, 25 games, get that card. All you have to do is play the game.
Right.
So I like that type of reward system where the more you play, the more time you invest into the game, the better not only a player you'll be, but also the resources that you'll have in the cards.
For sure. Yeah, I like that. That's it. Having flashbacks to Destiny. It's just like one of those MMORPGs that are just like you keep grinding, you'll level up, you'll get the things.
I'll be honest with you, my guy. I stopped playing Destiny. I played the first Destiny and I loved it so much. I basically played all the way through the second expansion.
Okay.
And then they were like, "Oh, by the way, your game doesn't work anymore. You got to rebuy it." I'm like, "The hell I do?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, even though you have the first original game and the 2 expansions, you got to buy this one if you want to play again." I'm like, "Well, I'm not playing anymore," and I stopped. And I was doing the raids and everything. I loved that game. It was so much fun, but I refused to spend another $60, $75 on it after I'd already spent all of the money on the game and the expansions.
For sure. Tell me about it. That's why like all of our stuff with that fills it out, because they just kept making those kind of decisions. Like I was saying earlier, is like comparing Bungie's approach to Destiny was very like it was one of those things where you just loved the game so much you just kept taking the punches. But like with this, I mean, personally, the hardest hit I'm taking with MetaZoo is like wanting the things that I order quicker, but like I understand the process in which things need to be printed and crafted and made and shipped out. Like I get that. But like with Destiny, man, like prime example. Hey, you want this new thing? You got to hold it's the same thing, but like with just this little thing, but you got to pay the whole thing again. And you're like, no, like, and that's what, like we played all the way up until they released Destiny 2. And with all this hype and all this other stuff, and then when Destiny 2 dropped, it was bad. It was bad. And we were like, we're out. Like, I'm not playing this game. And they've been trying to get it running again. And they're just like, I still am friends with a bunch of people on my personal Twitter. And there's like same conversations about PvP maps, all this, and I'm just like, I'm so glad I got out. Like, oh my god.
And that's the beautiful
Like,
thing is
yo.
that I feel like with MetaZoo, the approach that MetaZoo's making with this online client, it's going to be the absolute opposite. I think
Right.
we're going to actually find people that have stopped collecting, people that have stopped playing, coming back to MetaZoo because they can play the game. It's ease of access.
Right.
There are tons of people that I know that love playing the game, but either their communities dried up or people moved away. There was only 3 people that played and 2 of them left, and he's the only one still in the city or the town. Or they live 3-4 hours away from the biggest community or the most local community, and they can't
Right.
afford to drive out there and stuff like that. So they've stopped playing. They still collect and stuff. But being able to pick up your phone and be able to play at any
Play a couple
time,
games.
like I feel it's going to bring in so many, not just new players, but also previous
Oh
players,
yeah.
original investors, original collectors, things like that. Because again, ease of access. Everybody loves ease of access.
Right. No, I agree. It's gonna be great. They're gonna step into, like, just like we were saying, just picking up the technology and being able to play a game, and like you were saying, like follow like different quests. So it's like not like you're not playing like sweats. You know what I mean? You're just progressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see. I can't wait. I'm
I'm
so excited
interested to
for
see
it.
how the fourth wall stuff's going to work. It's either going to be like, I don't know how. I'll be honest with you. My favorite kind of, and I've gotten some weird looks when I said that when I say this, but my favorite would be some sort of randomization of an item to where, like, think of it almost. I don't want to say mystery box, but like, here you get this random fourth wall item, and so it's like another sub collection that you have to work
You
on
can
in order to
rotate
get.
out. Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
or make it to where like there's like Andy was talking about how there's going to be like seasonal rewards or quest lines and stuff. So maybe
yeah,
like for this season, these 5 fourth wall
are available.
effects are actually available
Hmm.
or something like that. Like I don't know. Like there's just so much little stuff with it.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a pretty decent idea. Like a reward for doing a thing is like it just auto rolls, or like you even said, the crafting. Well, if you have these 3 different types of in-game currency, you can craft a radio or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it
Oh,
is, you
see,
know,
yeah,
and
that's a good idea too.
it's just like you just collect your weapons more or less, and then you build as you go.
You equip them to your profile or whatever.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
it's gonna
it's a
be
good idea. It's a good idea.
it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
Can't
I'm
wait.
excited for it.
We do have a question from Wayward right here. If anybody else has any other questions though for Chris, definitely throw them out in the chat. He wants to know how we feel of the collector base, if the collector base is growing more than the player base at the moment. I feel like honestly it's still kind of 50-50. With maybe more 60-40, with 60% being the player base, and a lot of that I think is due to towers.
Yeah, I would. I mean, but still, like, I still see some. I've seen an influx in people slabbing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have seen an influx of people selling lots, though.
But I see at the
And
same time though, I've seen a bunch of new people getting into it.
right,
Like, oh,
that's that.
I found my first pack, especially after SDCC with Sanrio Hello Kitty. There were
Yeah.
tons of
Oh yeah.
of people actually introduced banning to MetaZoo for the first time because of the Sanrio cards.
Right.
So that's kind of why I say
It's just like this
50.
constantly.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, it might be 60-40, but then it
Because
goes
the
60-40 the other way, like within a week or two.
well, like, to your point, like the Hello Kitty things came out, spike in collectors,
Mm-hmm.
right? Tower announcements see the playability of things, spike in players. Like, you know what I mean? And it's constantly like that as things are discovered, as like, because the secret rare hunts are always on, right? And
Yeah.
then, when you start finding out that things are hitting right now, then collectors are selling, or stuff like that. So it's a
Look at
constant like ebb and
Sacrificial
flow.
Fusion Aura. Sacrificial Fusion Aura is up to about like 90, $95 right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is due to the tower, though.
Right.
So I would credit that to players, but I mean, it
Right.
still was like, I mean, like I think it was like around like 50, 55, maybe 45 or so, up until about 2 weeks ago. I mean, look at the Magma Fusion Aura too. After that, after Flame, the price of that did come down, but it's still relatively the most expensive aura because of both collector and players, because it's one of the harder ones I feel really to actually pull.
Yeah, I've seen more of the other ones pulled than that one for sure.
So I don't know. That's a good question though. Caster's Cast has a quick question. Are we waiting for the qualification period to end before them announcing if people have been accepted to play? If you're talking about Dark Tower, as far as I'm aware, and again, this is just speculation because they never really said one way or the other. I think they're waiting until the qualification period ends before they actually officially send out emails.
Yeah.
But I mean, saying that though, August ends in like what, 3 days? So I wouldn't be surprised if Friday, maybe next Monday, we actually get emails saying, "Hey, you're been accepted for Dark Tower."
Right.
But I don't think we're going to get anything until after the qualification period ends. Just because I know that with them, which was really cool, actually, I have to admit, it was really, really cool of them, that there were a ton of people who, because of them opening up Dark Tower signups so early in the month, and the qualification period being pretty much the entirety of August, I know they were allowing people who hadn't done a qualifier yet to sign up for Dark Tower when they opened, with the understanding that they completed the qualifier at that date. So that's why I would say I doubt they would send out any sort of acceptance letters prior to qualifications ending. It kind of makes sense. I don't know. Again, it's all speculation.
Right. Yeah. I remember like the whole Flame Tower thing was a roller coaster because they kept changing the gaps. And I'm like, I'm like messaging Fajir, like, do I need to play again? Do I need to qualify again? So like I qualified in the original. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And then we were just waiting and waiting. And it's like when you're, especially like you guys like are going, so you're really excited about the tower. You just can't wait to get that email and then be like, we're locked in. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Man, that's always nerve wracking when the waves go out and you're not like part of the first or the second wave, and you're like, oh God, am I gonna get this? Yeah, and then it's fun. I just like, because there was, I think it was Water Tower. I think it was like second or third wave had gone out or something like that, and I'm like, I guess I'm not going.
I'm not going. Yeah,
I'm not going. And then like I get the email, then I'm like, but yeah, it's one of those where I was stressing for a minute.
Yeah, I was definitely stressing. Then like emails were going out. We're all in the Houston chat, like, I got mine. And I'm like, I haven't got mine. And then like later in the day, I was like, I got mine.
What's looking at Discord and I see who's actually got the acceptance. Like, okay, what's their real name? What is their last name and end with? And ends with a D. Okay, cool. They've gotten to D. I'm J. All right, good.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And no, I'm my last name's Wagner, so like I'm like W. I'm always at the bottom of the list, so I'm like, I'll just be patient, I guess.
Oh man. Does anybody else have any other questions though for my man Chris? Again, if you have not had a chance to check out any of his amazing content, check it out on Instagram. I have the link in the description of the video. I also have the YouTube link to his school PE department actually as the pinned comment right now as well.
Yes.
So I know what I'm doing once the interview
Check that out for real. We scare some teachers really good, man. And there's we did this one. It's called Hocus Focus, and the whole the whole thing is it's a table with buckets on it, and under each bucket there's a school item. They lift up the bucket. They have to say what it is: ruler, Sharpie, scissors, and then under the last bucket, my head cut through a table going blah. And some of the scares we got were really, really funny. So we put like a GoPro underneath, and then we had the just the background shot of them at the table. So we would just have, if it was good enough, we would cut to the face reaction. But it was like really fun.
That's great.
Just a bunch of other stuff like that. Yeah, it's just we're just a bunch of clowns. Like it's so funny when they hire new teachers. They're like, "Yo, watch out for those two." And we're behaving for now.
We'll get to know you a little bit, and then we'll do
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll find out all your fears and then turn them against you. We got we have this one. We have got a couple. There's this one. I think it was last year or maybe 2 years ago. So we normally do a Halloween one. So we do one where the tech teacher dressed up like Michael Myers. We're still on Zoom meetings. Okay, so in the video you see everybody in their Zoom meeting, and then you just see like there's teachers with like their door in the background with the window, and you just see Michael popping into their door. And then there's ones where like we scared this one teacher that was she had some bad memories with Michael. Had to be. She was like, "Get out, please get out." Like it was bad, yeah. But yeah, we have that one. We have God. Oh, we do like Billy on the Street with Billy Eichner.
Mm-hmm.
We do those. We have ones of those where we just go around like on certain holidays. This year we're going to be doing a spelling bee one where we dress up in bee costumes and go around and we ask the teachers to spell a word, and if they spell it right, then we give them $1 and just stuff like that. Yeah.
That's so great.
So yeah, we just clown around. It's really fun.
I love that you've been a teacher for 11 years too, man.
Yeah.
Like that's like an elementary PE teacher for the last 11 years. I love that so much. That fits your personality so well.
Yeah, you think so?
Like I bet the kids love you. Like
I
kept forgetting to ask, but I have to. Do you still use the big parachute?
Yes. That's one of my favorite things to do. One of my favorite lessons. It's so fun. We do the whole bubble where we get inside, and then what we'll do is we have these big, they're called Omnicom balls, where it's a giant ball, but it's got like cloth and a cloth exterior. It's like a beach ball with a cloth shield, and we'll like throw it in the middle, and we'll be like, "Oh, yellow!" And then if your back is yellow, like or the different colors, you have to run through the middle and try and plug the other side, and the ball is just poof, 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 going through the middle, and they're like kids are kicking it and stuff, or you're like, "Run!" It's like super fun.
That's so good. That was my favorite thing. That was my favorite thing in PE was that. I think that's the thing that for everybody though. Everybody loves.
Yeah, the parachute's great. Yeah.
Wayward wants to know what your favorite Major League Soccer team is.
Oh man, this is tough to answer. I don't want to be a cotton-headed ninny muggins, but I do not prefer MLS soccer.
Ooh. Do tell.
It's hard to watch. Like I played on some teams where like guys got drafted to the MLS and they're like some of the best players I've ever played with, and then I'm watching MLS and like those guys are playing and the guys I played with aren't playing, and I'm just like, how is that even possible? Kind of thing. But I mean, American soccer, there's a deep issue with that. It's like problems, but what's funny enough about meeting my wife, being her in Texas and me in Pennsylvania, back when I met her, there wasn't a Philadelphia team. And I was a Dynamo fan. If I had to put a name on it, I was a Dynamo fan. And there was times where I would fly down and we'd go to Dynamo games. And then when they made the Philadelphia Union, I was like, give me all the gear. I'm going to be a Philly Union fan. And then me and my good friend, he was actually the goalie at Sam Houston. He was a huge Dynamo fan. We'd go to the Dynamo Union game. Him and all his Dynamo gear, me and all my Union gear, and I would have beers thrown at me all the time. Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah. And it's because the Union were actually pretty good back then, so it was like a heated battle, and it's just so crazy. But man, if I had to pick a team right now, I mean, I'd probably go with the Dynamo since I'm local and I can go to games. Union, I haven't seen them in a long time, but like if my buddy calls me up and goes, "Hey, let's go to the Philly Union Dynamo game," I'm going for the Union every time just to have fun with it. But
I love it.
let me tell you, does Chris know about Caster Society, Chris? Do I know about Caster Society, Chris? Like you were saying, I know people by their tags. I slowly am learning people's real names.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Harley is referencing.
Caster Society, I guess I'm curious now. Can I absorb that, Chris, to gain more Chris energy?
There could only be one.
It's like a Highlander situation going on.
What's up, Basic? How you doing, man?
Basic, what's up, man? That's the flame homie right there.
Yeah, Chris's the name is Across the Pond.
Across the pond.
Yeah, he's the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I still don't know what he's referencing, but yeah, that's what his.
He must be a big soccer fan.
Okay. See, I used to play soccer, but I never really actually followed it hardcore. Like, I wouldn't be able to honestly tell you any of the professional MLS teams names. Oh, he was the Seattle Sounders goalie for a few years. That's kind of cool.
Nice. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Seattle Sounders, man, they have such cool jersey colors. Oh man. Yeah, I like the navy blue with like the bright green. So good.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know he actually played though, like professional soccer. That's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Man, there's so many crazy people actually in the MetaZoo community. That's what
We're a unique bunch.
That's what the show is about. What's so amazing?
That's awesome.
Well, do you have any closing remarks? Anything you'd like to shout out? Anybody? Anything like that?
Nah, honestly, like shout out to like everybody in the community. You included. Like ever since we stepped foot into this MetaZoo community, it's been nothing but like overwhelming. MetaZoo United. I love that. We start that team. Men's league team, Sunday league team. We're starting it. No, I've been nothing but everyone's been super wholesome and inviting and loving towards the content, and we really appreciate it. And it's just been awesome. Like I honestly, I don't think I've met like any terrible people. You know what I mean? Everyone's just been so cool, and it, like you were saying, my favorite moment at Flame Tower is just the vibe of everything. Mm-hmm. It's just so cool seeing everybody and just being like, yeah, let's go. And just being happy. Everyone's like happy for each other. Like no one's just like, you know what I mean?
An hour and a half, 2 hours, man, before the tower. Like it's like a big family reunion.
Yes.
And even if you don't know anybody there, it still is like a big family reunion because you're like, you're that guy that I've been talking to on Discord for the last year.
Right.
Or you're that guy from the Facebook group that I'm actually in. Or we both comment on the same videos, like on this YouTube dude. Like it's so, and it like I don't know, it's surreal because again, like I don't know, like like the vast majority of everybody is just they're so accepting, they're excited to be there, they're humbled, like
right. And that's what I was talking to somebody at I think I was talking to Doug, Lord Dirty, at the Houston event, and he was because there was like a Yu-Gi-Oh group off to the back, and he was saying like, oh man, I don't miss those days. Like some of those people are like super intense and this kind of thing, and it's just really like, like you know what I mean? You just get bad memories, and I was like, yeah, that's what I like about MetaZoo. Like everyone just seems so like relax, you know what I mean? Like, hey, it's all good, you know. And that's what I really love about it because it just fits what I like. Just super chill vibes, lots of laughter, super like cool culture. Like I love like the whole like just I don't know. It's everything. Like I love it. It's so good. And people get my jokes. So like that's also good.
Well, man, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you for the last hour and a half, getting to know you a little bit more. Again, I'm going to keep saying it. I love the fact that you're an elementary school teacher. Thank you for what you do. I don't know if you get told that enough. Like, thank you for being a teacher. Thank you for everything that you had to go through from 2020 till 2022 with COVID and such.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I'm trying to get my cap. It says "Say no to dodgeball" on it. I'm trying to get my graduation cap off right here. I don't want to rip it. No, I can't get it off. I'll have to send you a picture.
I love it. No, that's great. Again, for everybody, definitely make sure to go and check out his Instagram reels, his Instagram content. Link is in the description. I'll also go ahead and actually add the link to your school YouTube as well, in the description as well too. So definitely go and check that out. Give that some love. Give them some subs. But yeah, man, it's been a blast. You're amazing. You're hilarious. I can't wait until we actually can actually meet up in person.
Yeah, I'm ready for all that for sure. I gotta that's what I was saying about the traveling and stuff. I want to line it up so that way I can go to more things more consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And the price point's got to be there. You know what I mean? But
we'll get there. It has to be worth it, dude. And we will. You know it. But yeah, dude, it's been great. You're amazing.
Thank you.
We next week, just so everybody knows that's actually watching right now or watching in the future, next week we're not actually going to have a Monday episode because of it being Labor Day. We're actually pushing that to Wednesday the 6th, and that will be another MetaZoo recap. We'll be recapping everything that went on this past month in August, and holy moly, there was a lot. So definitely check in for that next Wednesday. Again, Chris, I can't thank you enough for jumping on here, man. I'm sorry everything got kind of crazy with me getting sick and stuff, and having to push it and everything, but I'm glad.
Hey, life happens, man. I'm so glad you asked me to be on here, man. It's an honor, honestly. Like you do great things, and you're such an anchor in the community as well. So it's great hanging out with you. Like I said, like whenever I sit down to play games, I'm like, so we're hanging out. Like I don't even say, so we're playing each other. I'm like, we're hanging out right now, because that's how I felt. So I love that. I had a great time, man. Thank you so much.
I love these interviews because, like we were talking about at the beginning before we went live, I love how it's so amazing to be able to put a face and a name to all the different usernames and stuff like that we see between YouTube and Discord and Instagram and Facebook and all of this. And it's nice to have a little bit of that realism of that actual, like, oh, that's who this person is. So that's why in these interviews, I love asking about, yes, your love of MetaZoo, what got you into it, what are your thoughts on it? But I love getting to know more about who you are personally, where you're from, what the stuff that led to where you are now, and why you are such a beautiful person in this community.
Thank you.
I know. All right. But yeah, anyway, everybody have a wonderful night. Once again, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Deuces.